Hello, good morning. Okay, so the sun's not bothering me today, or well, this morning, later this morning. Geez, that's the word I want to use. Okay, so I do have one more thing aside from feeling hurt from my friend that I do want to talk about. Now, I can't, of course, just like with everybody in my life, I do not give their name out. And this one especially because the person is a minor. But anyway, okay, so we hosted a New Year's Eve party at our house. We do one every year, even if nobody comes. If nobody comes, we just do the same thing we usually would do. Get on some hats and some noisemakers, stuff like that. And then we usually watch a movie. I make some hors d'oeuvre type, appetizer type deals. Like this year I did, for supper, I made Dragon Breath chili for me and my husband. Then I did some kind of sauteed mushrooms in like a creamy sauce. Never did those before, so that actually, I liked it. But anyway, and then I also did buzzard bites. And so anyway, not talking about food. So my older daughter invited one of her friends over, and my younger daughter invited one of her friends over. Now, this is the first year this sort of thing has happened. Okay, so it was about 10:30 at night. We had watched Strange Brew, and before you say anything, that is my parenting right. I can let my kids watch whatever movies I think are okay for them. Invoking my parental rights as a parent, I don't have a problem with them watching a movie like that. I don't think there's anything too terribly wrong with the movie to begin with, other than, it's got beer in it. But, kids today are subjected to more than that type of stuff in advertisement. I mean, all they got to do is be watching football with their dad, and they'd see more beer advertisement than what was in that movie. But anyway, Strange Brew is a pretty good movie. I'd never seen it until I was at least 19, 20, something like that. I was working with a friend working at a bakery, was working overnight, and one of the other bakers was like, hey, you want to see, I'll bring in a movie, and because we were talking about movies, and he's telling me about Strange Brew, and he's like, oh, you'll like it. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, hey, well, let's do a movie exchange. What movie do you want me to bring? So he brought in his VHS for me to watch. Yes, this is still before anybody really had DVDs, so, it was still in the late 90s, so, most people still had a VHS player. But anyway, so he brought in his, oh my God, I'm way off topic, but I'll finish the story anyway, since I already started it. Okay, so he brought in his Strange Brew VHS, and then I was telling him about, because he likes to listen, then I wasn't really a big classic rock fan, but, I like certain things in classic rock, but I never actually just listened to the classic rock station. But anyway, there was this song that kept coming on, Magic Carpet Ride or something like that. I don't remember who sings it. I don't even know if that's the name of it or not. Anyway, I'm like, ooh, that reminds me of Star Trek First Contact. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'll bring that movie in. So I brought First Contact for him to watch, and so we exchanged movies, and that was my first time watching Strange Brew. So anyway, you got a little bit of a story that was so far off of the topic from whatever. Hooray for ADD. You just got to roll with it. It may be annoying to some people because, they'll be trying to listen to me, and then I'll go blah, 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 blah on something else. And it's like, I realize it, I know, but I can't stop it. But anyway, okay. So anyway, we were watching Strange Brew on New Year's Eve night. I don't know why my brain's not working right now. Anyway, on New Year's Eve night, so my two daughters had two friends, a friend over each. So there was 4 kids, and then me and my husband. So there's 6 people in the house. It wasn't many. That is not the total. That's not the highest number of sleepover people we've had in our house. We've had 12, I think, at once. 12 once, something like that. 7 downstairs and 6 upstairs. That is not 12. 13 kids then is the most we've ever had at the house for a sleepover. That was a good sleepover. There were a lot of conversations going on that night. But anyway, so we played apples to apples first. You know, that was early on after supper. And then we watched Strange Brew, and then the one friend, my youngest daughter's friend, decided to, at 10:30, I don't remember what I was doing. I can't remember what I was doing. Might have been in the bathroom. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't hang around my kids when they have their sleepover people. I'm not that kind of a parent. I don't hover around. If they want to hang out with their old mom, they can hang out with old mom if it's okay, but they have to be the ones willing to, want to do it. Otherwise, I'll just let them be teenagers. Anyway, so this girl goes to my younger daughter. She's like, I have to go home. My mom says I have a chore that I forgot to do. I'll be back. So my daughter waited around from 10:30 till 12:30 at night for her to come back. And the girl that I'm talking about, she lives behind us over here. I have talked about her before. Her home life is kind of crappy. She moved out because her mom let the brother live back. And anyway, it's a whole story. I did talk about that at some other, a while ago. But anyway, I've been trying to deal with being an accepting parent on, because my first reaction is to get mad at that girl for how she made my daughter feel. My daughter waited and waited and waited. And then at about 11:50, I called everybody up. I poured the sparkling apple juice or grape juice because, that's just what we do at the house. Since I'm a recovering alcoholic, I'm not stopping my husband from buying a bottle of champagne, but he has to drink it himself because I'm not going to drink it and I won't let him share with the kids. So we all just had sparkling grape juice and toasted at 12 o'clock and wished everybody Happy New Year. And I could tell my daughter was very sad. And, and I came over to her and I'm like, I know, I'm sorry, your friend made you feel very bad. And, she's like, it's okay, it's not your fault. She probably, got busy. And I'm just sitting here trying to explain things away, even though it's not my job to explain things, like that away. Part of me wants to get mad at this girl for treating my little girl like that, because you're not supposed to do that to your friends. And I don't know. I want to be the bigger person and not get mad and, try to give it helpful advice, because my daughter already feels sad as it is. I don't need her to feel even worse or make her feel even more sad because mom's mad now too. So, I haven't really brought it up, but I personally am still pretty upset that this happened. This girl is 17 years old, so she should know better than to treat her friends that way. What I think it was she just didn't want to be here for New Year's because I had said that her boyfriend or friend, whatever, could not come over because that's not my, I don't care. No. She's not my kid. I'm not going to condone to having two kids who are not my relation doing things at my house or whatever. So I think what it was is she didn't want to spend New Year's here, and she wanted to spend it with her boyfriend, and she just didn't want to tell my daughter that. And that's just not cool, man. You don't act that way, especially being 17. You should know better. And that's even as an adult, you don't treat your friends that way. If you say you're going to somebody's party and you don't want to be there, just tell them, hey, I gotta go, or I don't really want to, this isn't quite the party I wanted to go to. If you don't feel comfortable doing that to your friend, saying, confronting them about stuff, then you need to check yourself and realize, why can't I confront that person and express my feelings? Because bottling them up doesn't help any. If that girl would have said, I'm going to leave, I want to go spend, New Year's with my boyfriend, my daughter probably would have been very understanding and said, okay, she might have been sad still, but she's even more sad because that was never told to her. And, like I said, I'm trying to be a bigger parent and not do the mommy bear, because every time somebody does something bad to my kids, the mama bear usually comes out. So, I don't know. Anyway, I just feel like that was another thing that I wanted to talk about was, that made my daughter feel really bad. And it kind of, and the other girl that was over, she could see that the whole environment in the house was completely different after that happened. And, she's like, why did she leave? And nobody, knew, But anyway, if you shouldn't, if you're in a situation like that, you should be able to be honest with your friends. I know it's hard to say and do. I mean, I try to be, cordial at first with my friends, but, after a while it's like, no, you know what? I'm going to deal with me first. And if they don't accept it, then they're not obviously your friends. So I don't know. But see, a part of me is like, I can't teach her that because I don't want her to, my younger daughter, I don't want her to resent and say, well, you taught me how to not be a good friend to my friends, or not liked by anybody because of how you trained me to, and I don't want her to do that. I want her to, so I sat her down and I said, well, maybe she just didn't feel like, she didn't feel like she could come and talk to you about, wanting to not be here, and I tried to explain it to her nicely, and hopefully that's as good as, parenting doesn't come with a manual, so I'm trying to teach my kids better than what I was taught as a kid. So anyway, I just figured I'd throw that little story out there, the sad New Year's party incident. So anyway, all right, bye.